It was supposed to be an ordinary evening in a quiet suburban neighborhood, but everything changed in an instant. A woman, bleeding from a wound on her forehead, her hands wrapped in duct tape, banged frantically on a neighbor's door. Her voice, hoarse from screaming, pleaded for help. "Please, someone's in my house," she cried. "My husband is dead." Within minutes, police arrived at the scene, finding the house in complete disarray. Furniture toppled, drawers yanked open, and belongings scattered. But the most chilling discovery was in the bathroom. Lying motionless, his hands bound behind his back, was a man, lifeless. At first, it appeared to be a violent robbery gone wrong, but as investigators peeled back the layers of that night, they uncovered something far more sinister, a story of betrayal, obsession, and a calculated murder that no one saw coming. Angel Marie Wilson was born in 1973 and grew up in Sterling Park, Virginia. She attended Parkview High School, but much of her early life remains private. She eventually married and had 4 children, 2 daughters, Michaela and Victoria, and 2 sons, Aaron and Benjamin. Unfortunately, her marriage didn't last. While still in the middle of finalizing her divorce, Angel's life took a dramatic turn. In 2011, while dropping her kids off at school, she met Milton Henry Sawyer. He too was a parent with children at the same school. Milton, born on July 9, 1963 in North Carolina, was raised in a loving family with 3 brothers, a sister, and a half-brother. Academically gifted, he earned degrees in mathematics and computer science from the University of North Carolina. Though he initially worked in data management at a university, his true passion lay elsewhere. Milton had a deep love for antiques and collectibles. Eventually, he turned that passion into a thriving business, opening a shop specializing in rare finds and precious metals. The store, conveniently located just 3 miles from his home, became a well-known spot in the community. Though he had been married before and had 3 children, Milton's personal life grew complicated when an affair led to the birth of a 4th child. Despite the challenges, his divorce remained amicable, allowing him to move forward. Despite a 10-year age gap, Angel and Milton quickly grew close. By 2012, they were married, with Angel taking his last name. Together, they blended their families, creating a home filled with 7 children. Angel took an active role in Milton's business, eventually helping him rebrand it as Treasure Hunter. She took charge of organizing inventory, adjusting prices, and redesigning the store layout, efforts that Milton deeply appreciated. For 6 years, their life seemed picture perfect. As their older children moved out, only their 2 youngest daughters remained at home with them. From the outside, they looked like the perfect couple. But beneath the surface, tensions were beginning to brew. In 2017, Angel was involved in a minor car accident that left her struggling with shoulder and hip pain. Traditional treatments didn't seem to help, so she sought alternative therapies. That's when she was referred to Isaac Melchior, a specialist in dry needling, a technique similar to acupuncture, but focused on muscle and tissue relief. At first, Angel and Isaac's interactions were strictly professional. He suggested she come in for therapy 2 to 3 times a week, and she agreed, desperate for relief. But over time, their conversations grew more personal. Angel began confiding in Isaac, painting a picture of her marriage that was far from perfect. She described Milton as controlling, claiming he wouldn't let her go out alone or even attend church without him. She also accused him of being emotionally distant, saying that even if she lay beside him without clothes, he would ignore her. Her descriptions grew more disturbing. She claimed Milton's constant yelling triggered severe anxiety attacks, sometimes making her physically ill. Isaac, a married man and devoted to his faith, found himself drawn to Angel's vulnerability. At first, he resisted, but in December 2017, she sent him a message that changed everything, offering to share a revealing photo of herself. Despite knowing the risks, Isaac accepted. That moment marked the beginning of a dangerous affair. Their first private meeting was tense. Isaac worried about the consequences of getting involved, not just for his marriage, but for his career. But Angel reassured him, even offering to walk away. Yet, during their next session, she made the first move. undressing in front of him. That was the moment Isaac's last bit of resistance crumbled. From then on, their affair intensified. They secretly met at the clinic under the guise of therapy, using private messaging apps to communicate. By the end of 2017, they were seeing each other multiple times a week, but Milton wasn't blind. By early 2018, he grew suspicious of Angel's frequent therapy sessions. When she realized he was catching on, she told Isaac she could no longer see him. Isaac took it as a sign to end things, but Angel wasn't willing to let go. She begged him to continue, even hinting at suicidal thoughts if he left her. Isaac, believing he was the only one who could save her, agreed. By spring, Angel convinced Milton to let her return to therapy, insisting it was crucial for her health. But her sessions with Isaac weren't about treatment anymore. She told him she was terrified of Milton, claiming he would kill her if she tried to leave. She needed a way out, and soon they both knew what that meant. Milton's suspicions deepened. Over Memorial Day weekend, he and Angel unexpectedly ran into Isaac and his family at a popular fishing pier. Milton's reaction was cold and uncomfortable. The tension between them was undeniable. Days later, Milton's suspicions turned into action. A warning call came through to Isaac's workplace. Milton was planning to confront him. Police intervened, warning Milton to stay away. But the damage was done. The fear, the paranoia, the obsession, it had all reached a breaking point. On the night of August 2nd, 2018, everything came crashing down. A bloodied Angel appeared at a neighbor's door, screaming for help. "Someone's in my house! My husband is dead!" When police arrived, they found Milton's lifeless body in the bathroom, his hands tied with electrical tape. No signs of forced entry. The back door left slightly open. Angel's story? An armed intruder in black broke in, tied them up, and stole valuables before killing Milton. But something didn't add up. Investigators found no evidence of a robbery. The back door key had been placed in an unusually obvious spot, and the attacker, for some reason, had thanked God before leaving. Then a crucial lead emerged. Milton's son mentioned Isaac. He knew his father suspected Angel and Isaac's affair. When police questioned Angel, she denied any connection, claiming Isaac had harassed her after she cut ties. But when detectives searched her phone, they found love messages, and when confronted, she deleted them in front of police. The truth was unraveling. Isaac, now a prime suspect, fled to Oregon, but guilt weighed on him. In a confession to his pastor, he revealed the horrifying truth: Angel was in on it. She convinced him Milton had to die, and out of blind love, he agreed. As police gathered evidence, Angel's lies collapsed. By the end of August, both she and Isaac were arrested and charged with first-degree murder. But the story didn't end there. Angel, still clinging to her web of lies, never imagined what would happen next. Cohol in his drink, making it appear as though Milton had died of natural causes. However, when Angel failed to go through with the plan, she suggested a different approach, an attack staged to look like a home invasion. She assured Isaac that she would leave the back door open for him and instructed him to use electrical tape to restrain Milton. On the night of August 1st, 2018, Isaac entered the Sawyer home through the back door just as planned. Milton, caught off guard, struggled against Isaac, but the attack was swift. Isaac managed to subdue Milton, binding his hands behind his back before pressing his weight down on Milton's neck. Despite Milton's desperate attempts to free himself, he eventually succumbed to asphyxiation. Angel, who had been waiting in the next room, rushed in after Milton stopped moving. In a panic, she told Isaac to hit her on the head to make her injuries look real. Isaac hesitated, but eventually complied, striking her with enough force to cause a bleeding wound on her forehead. Angel then had him wrap her hands in electrical tape before instructing him to leave. Once Isaac was gone, Angel staged her dramatic escape. She struggled until she freed one of her hands, then ran to the neighbor's house, screaming for help. Investigators later determined that Angel's supposed struggle with the intruder was inconsistent with the evidence at the scene. There were no forced entry marks, and the disarray in the bedroom seemed staged rather than the result of a genuine struggle. with Isaac's confession, the prosecution had a strong case against Angel. In October 2021, Isaac pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in exchange for testifying against her. He was sentenced to 25 to 31 years in prison. His testimony painted Angel as the mastermind who had manipulated him into killing her husband under the guise of love and necessity. Angel, however, maintained her innocence, claiming that Isaac had acted alone and that she had been just as much a victim as Milton. But the jury saw through her deception. In March 2022, she was convicted of first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder. She was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Milton Sawyer's murder left a deep scar on the community, especially among his children and customers who had known him as a kind and generous man. His antique store, Treasure Hunter, eventually closed, marking the end of a legacy built on passion and hard work. In the end, Angel's insatiable desire for control and manipulation led to the destruction of multiple lives, and Isaac, a man who had once been respected in his field, was left to spend decades in prison, reflecting on the choices that had cost him everything. As for Milton, his loved ones continued to remember him not for the tragic way he died, but for the warmth and generosity he shared with those around him, a man whose life was stolen by the person he trusted the most.